He is a Emeritus Professor of Physiology and Director, Center for Yogic Sciences, and he is also a Vice Chairman of Indian Yoga Association, Puducherry branch, and he is a patron of Puducherry Yoga Sports Association which and in place yoga is going to represent it in the Olympic level. So a few words about Sir. Sir has experienced over 40 years in the teaching line, and he is a former professor and head of the department physiology. Also a director of advanced education and research at JIPMER. And after retiring from JIPMER, Sir has started his service, extended his service to Sri Balaji Vidyapith in Mahatma Gandhi Medical College, and he is also served as a professor and the head of the department in physiology. There he started again a yoga therapy unit of named the Center for Yoga Therapy Education and Research, where many yoga classes are offered, and one of the first private institution yoga therapy unit has set up. And after Sir moved to our college, and it's very proud to say our college is the second private university who has started yoga therapy. Yes, and published and scientists in national journals. He has authored and edited many medical textbooks, and he is one of the peer reviewers of scientific journals both in physiology and yoga. So he guided 200 medical professionals in MD and PhD studies over the past 40 years, and he has served as a medical inspector in inspecting colleges under the Medical Council of India. So we are away. With the future. Oh, thank you. Can you able to see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'm
Good morning,
happy
sir.
Good morning, sir.
to welcome you to the yoga program of
Good morning, sir.
started yoga here. Earlier started yoga in other places also. And now this is my introductory lecture, Yoga for Well-being. And I will give you overall picture of what I am going to talk, skip of a talk. In this first talk, I will give you a brief outline of what is yoga. And briefly, yoga for holistic well-being and relevance of yoga to medical. That is, medical means the physicians as well as the students. Now, first part, what is yoga? Now, yoga is scientific spiritual discipline. It's a science, it is spiritual, it is a philosophy, it is art. It's the most precious gem of our cultural heritage and Vedic thought. Because yoga comes from Rigveda itself. Rigveda, Yajurveda, then Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, then Yoga Darshan. At the ancient time, we don't know exact time, but from the beginning of our culture, yoga starts. Yoga starts there. It's a practical philosophy. We have 6 philosophies of Indian philosophy, like Sankhya, Yoga, and Vedanta. But yoga is a practical philosophy, which can be practiced in our daily life. It is science of man and his potential. Because you see that yoga has the physiological effect, psychological effect, spiritual effect. It can improve your overall potential development. So it's a holistic science, a holy science. I'll come to this point again. And it's ancient marvel, India's gift to the world, soft power. Now, recently our Prime Minister has spread the yoga 3-4 days before the whole world. And the internet celebrated all over the world nowadays for the last few years. Now, yoga is a way of life, how you live. Not asana, that is yoga. The way of life, how you live, based on a view of life. View of life is a philosophy. That is the Vedic and Bhagavad Gita. What is the view of life? Now, what does yoga mean? What are the definitions? You know that the Sanskrit term, they have got very logic. And there's a root we call dhatu, uses a dhatu, root. From this root, many words can be formed. And all words are related. So from yuji become yoga. And from yoga is India, this English word, yoke. Yoke the 2 blocks. 2 blocks are yoga. Union. Union. Union means the mind is joined to the higher mind in meditation. That is union. What Rigveda says, yunjate manuti yunjate. You join the mind with higher mind, higher consciousness. So yoga means joining, oneness, union, and harmony. The meaning of yoga. And definition of yoga, there are many definitions. Bhagavad Gita says, samattam yoga uchatte. Samattam means balance. When mind is balanced, a person who is doing yoga, is doing meditation, dhyana, his mind is one-pointed, efficient, and balanced. The samattam is not disturbed by ordinary things. Our disturbance will be minimum, come back to normal. So samattam yoga uchatte. So you speak of yoga as balance of mind. Again, Bhagavad Gita, next, yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is karmasu, whatever activity you do, whatever is your profession, kaushalam, you are skilled. Whatever you do, you are a physician, you are an engineer, you are a businessman, you are a fighter, you are a policeman, whatever you do, you are skilled in that action. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. And the Yoga Darshan, the Patanjali's Yoga Darshan, which we follow commonly, one of the 6 schools of Indian philosophy, Patanjali's Yoga Darshan, he says, Yoga Chittavritti Nirodha. The second verse itself, first chapter, second verse, in the beginning itself. Yoga Chittavritti Nirodha. Nirodha means, as you know, control. Chittavritti means the disturbance of the mind. Vritti means disturbance. Chitta means mind. That is yoga. The disturbance of mind are controlled. Mind is balanced. That is yoga. When you sit in Padmasana, any asana, the body is controlled, calm, mind also is calm. When you do meditation, mind becomes still more calm. So that is these are various definitions of yoga. Now, as I told you, yoga is the way of life based on the view of life. What is view of life? What is the view of life? Of course, more detailed discussion is a philosophy. Now, I am body. I am not body. I have body. I have mind. Who has this body and mind? My separate Atma. This is the view of life, holistic view. I am Atma, and my Atma possesses my body and mind. And this Atma is ultimately to join the higher Atma, the universal Atma, Paramatma. That's the philosophy on that basis. So that is the purpose of your life. For that, you develop your body, your mind, you develop spiritual power, your physical strength, your mental power, and then you can ultimately become one with the universal consciousness. That is the Samadhi. So that is the view of life. So, and even the Ayurveda also, Charak Samhita, he says, Sattam Atma Shriram Cha Premim Tidandavat. Sattam means the mind. Sattam means Sattva, mind. Atma, the separate. Shriram Cha, body also. See, body also, body second, most important. I am the separate. The mind is important, and body is also important. Shriram Cha Premim Tidandavat. That's the Ayurveda, Charak Samhita says. In our modern medicine, our body is the main. Body has mind, brain has mind, but yoga, we see the mind has. This body and mind are two powerful, beautiful instruments of the soul to live in the world. Using these beautiful instruments, our body is very powerful. You can make more strong by yoga practice. Mind more strong, one-pointed, more balanced by yoga practice. So that is the view of life, philosophy. Now, there are many yoga. The Upanishads are full. I told you, yoga starts from the Veda itself, Rig Veda, Yajurveda. So, Yajurveda says, Yoga Yogita Tavatsaram Vaje Hava Mahi. And then Upanishads, especially Katha Upanishad, full of yoga, but mainly higher yoga, the meditation, joining with the Paramatma. And then Bhagavad Gita also. Bhagavad Gita is Yoga Shastra. Bhagavad Gita has 700 shlokas, verses. In 700 verses, 105 times yoga is mentioned, term. And in addition to that, Dhyan, Samadhi, Pragya, which are yoga terms, they are also there. Yoga Shastra, Bhagavad Gita also. So then every chapter is called, say, Sankhya Yoga, like that. Richard. Jnana Karma Yoga, Bhagavad Gita chapters. So, but a particular philosophy of yoga by Patanjali is called Yoga Darshan or Yoga Shastra. Patanjali Yoga Darshan, he has given Ashtanga, 8-limb Raj Yoga. Where more important, he does mention about the asana, about the pranayama, but mainly the higher yoga, Raj Yoga. So he has given the 8-limb Ashtanga. What are the 8 limbs? You see the Bahiranga, outer discipline, Antaranga, inner discipline. Outer discipline, Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam. Asana, Pranayam, you are more familiar. Then inner discipline, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, mental techniques. So of course there is sometimes a Pratyahara, some take in the outer Bahiranga, there is some overlap there. And this Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali, that's what we follow most commonly nowadays. It's a Yoga Darshan, one of the 6 schools of Indian philosophy. 5 moral codes. Ahimsa, Asatya. I will not give detail now, just an overall idea. The moral ethical codes, these are 5, Ahimsa, Satya, Asya, Brahmacharya, Aparigrahya. You will understand Ahimsa, Satya. This is moral. Moral is morality, the ethics. If you practice them or do not practice them, they affect your dealing with other members of society, how you live. If you speak untruth, you are a liar, you don't follow you are hinsak, like terrorist. So then it will be different. Society will be different. You will be a different person. If you follow them, you will be a divine person. That is 5 yamas. Then 5 niyamas, that's the personal discipline. The Shauch, Santosh, Tapasya, Adhyaya, Ishwar, Pindadhani. The 5 disciplines. Shauch means purity, the purity of the body, purity of the mind, purity of... So these are all details, more details which I cannot tell you now. But your body and mind should be pure. Pure thoughts, pure behavior, pure speech, pure actions. Your actions should be like that. So that's the niyam. So the yam and niyam, morality and personal discipline, the very basis of yoga. Without morality, if you do asana, pranayama, if you're very strong, there's no morality, you can become like a very, you will not be an asset to society. You can become a great criminal, isn't it? So then asana, many people, we are all very familiar with asana, they are steady postures. What he says, Sthir Sukham Asanam. You sthir, firm, not tight, not rigid. Sthir, Sukham. Sukham means comfortable. That's what yoga Patanjali says. He defines the asana. Sthir Sukham, firm and comfortable. Not rigid, uncomfortable. You sit in a posture. Many postures are there. Should be comfortable to you. You must listen to your body while you are practicing yoga. That's asana. Many asanas are there. Traditional, they say 84 lakh asanas are there. This is a poetry. But there are hundreds of asanas are there. And for you, about 10, 20 is more than enough to give you whole body, full workout, strength, flexibility, and stamina. Strength, stamina, and flexibility of joints, whole body. Enough, 10 to 20. And then pranayama. Pranayama, yogic breathing. Pranayama is very, very important. It has a lot of therapeutic potential. Pranayama, yogic breathing techniques are there. Many have to be aware of this, knowing, but many will not be knowing. Many breathing techniques. You breathe fast, you breathe slow. Many types are there. You breathe with ratio, without ratio, and slow pranayama, fast pranayama. There are many, and they have different physiological and therapeutic effect. And especially slow pranayams, where you can breathe slowly, deeply, meditatively. So dhyana is there also. So it becomes still more effective. They have therapeutic effect. And on the body also, mind also. So that was the yam, the morality, first step of the yoga, of 8 step, 8 limb. Yam, morality, niyam is discipline. Without discipline, you cannot achieve anything. Even the Patanjali starts with us yoga anushasanam. Let us start yoga anushasan. Discipline of yoga. That's first beginning of this Patanjali Yoga Darshan. First verse itself. They are very brief because of sutra. Asa yoga anushasanam. Next is yoga chittavritti nirodha. They are very brief and they are pregnant with meaning. So that's the discipline. Then asana, it's very common. There's the postures, various postures. They have physiological effect, therapeutic effect. And the yogic breathing has also physical effect, physiological effect, therapeutic effect. Then pratyahara, sensory, pratyahara. Ahara means you eat. Praty means reverse. What you do, because our senses have got tendency to go out. हमारी इंद्रियों को विषयों में जाने की उनके प्रवृत्ति होती है. देखो, my eyes want to see, my ear want to see, isn't it? Outside, out of the body, you withdraw them. You in meditation, withdraw all senses into you. That is control of senses. Then dharana. Dharana means concentration. What Patanjali Desh Bandesh Chittasya Dharana. It defines. All defines very brief. Desh Bandesh, Desh means place here. This is not only country. In our my body, which is Desh? Hridaya Desh. Mastasik Desh. Any Desh. Bandesya, we focus there. Chittasya, mind. Dharana. When mind is focused on your hair, or your heart, anywhere. Different the chakras are there, body parts are there, whole body is there. And this when it focus, that is dharana. That's concentration. Dhyana. When this concentration becomes continuous, what he says, Desh Bandesh Chitta Dharana. Tattu Prate Ektanta Dhyanam. Then that becomes dharana, constitutes Ektanta. If it is continuous, then meditation. So you are first doing dharana, concentration on something, maybe a flame or mantra or something. You are focusing, concentrating. And when this concentration is continuous, it becomes dhyan. Okay. It becomes dhyan, meditation. And then samadhi. When meditation is absolute, undisturbed, deep enough, it's quality. You'll see that sensory withdrawal, concentration, meditation, and the samadhi superconscious, they are same line, but only their degree, quality-wise, control. How long you can do it, how well you can do it, how much undisturbed you can do it, it goes then dhyan becomes samadhi. Absolute oneness with the object of meditation. And you are, there is no world, you are in the world, but or not of the world, you are not even, that's samadhi. Superconscious state. Now we have told you the basis of yoga is the morality, yama, panchayama, ahimsa, satya, steya, brahmacharya, aparigrahya. I haven't given details, but these are 5 moral restraints. Moral dimension, how we use our abilities. I am qualified, I know, I am a scientist, I have a lot of knowledge, my body is strong, my mind is strong, I know I have a lot of skills. How I use them? If I use them in the wrong way, to harm others, I can become a great criminal. I can be a great criminal. If I use it positively, for the benefit of the society, of others, I become a saint. I become a asset to the society. And how I use my abilities, which are developed by yoga, that is the result, the outcome will be there. And that's why the morality is the first step, basis of yoga. And ultimately samadhi. So we have a material progress without parallel inner development. If you do, you have got the body is strong, you have got money, everything is there, material development is there, but inner balance is not there. The disharmony between the physical body and between the hardware and software, the disharmony. Inner balance is not there. It can lead to stress. And I have seen, I have been teaching for nearly 40 years, I've seen many students, bright students, they commit suicide. They lose their mind. Because only one thing is there is no balance. You have to balance. You must study well, you must eat well, you must enjoy your life, you must do exercise, you must do meditation also. You must develop inner self also. Inner software must be developed. So that is there. And your baseless morality. Then you will be really great person. Now this was what yoga is in a brief, very brief. Now yoga for well-being. As the main topic was there. Now the holistic well-being. I will see what is well-being, what is holistic. What is holistic? I'll talk now. Now holistic is, the yoga is holistic. Whole is greater than the sum of the parts. You know, arithmetic, 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. It cannot be 7. Whereas if 2 plus 2 becomes 5, it's not arithmetic. It becomes probably it's a different thing. You call it holistic. I'll give you an example. In physiology, you learn later on more detail. Now, suppose a condition, there's a hypoxia. It can happen, hypoxia. You are in a closed room or you are breathing air with low oxygen, there's hypoxia. And there'll be hyperventilation. At least there are many diseases produce hypoxia, hyperventilation. So some amount, so more the hypoxia, more the hyperventilation, depends. Suppose degree of hypoxia causes, say, double the ventilation. You breathe double. Now you breathe about 6 liters per minute, resting, it becomes 12. It can become 120, very severe hypoxia. 120 liters per minute. Normally you breathe 6 liters per minute. Now suppose the degree of hypoxia doubles your ventilation. Okay, that's one condition. Second condition, there is also hypercapnia. Carbon dioxide is also more. Some diseases produce hypercapnia. Most of diseases produce both together. But you can produce experimentally a disease also primary hypoxia, primary hypercapnia. That hypercapnia also doubles ventilation. So there is one degree of hypoxia, double ventilation. Hypercapnia also double ventilation. When you join the two, both hypoxia plus hypercapnia is closed, you are breathing closed chamber. a closed room. Both are there. Then same degree of hypoxia and hypercapnia will not make your ventilation 4 times, 2 plus 2, but much more. That's the beauty of yoga. When you practice, I will give an example. I will give one more example in physiology, for example. Or say mind, for example. If you are not in a good mood and there is small irritation, your child comes, your class fellow comes, he irritates you a little. Normally you'll get irritated. But if you are in a bad mood, your irritation is much more. Your response is much more. So that's psychological problem. So there's a what you call that sensitization of one response by other factor. One more example I'll give. For example, you scratch a little more, you'll get a little pain, irritation. Suppose there is inflammation, injury is there early, there's a skin disease, it is sensitive skin, even touch will be painful. Or same amount of pressure will produce much more pain. So the receptors are sensitized, their chemicals are liberated there. There are many chemicals are there, substance P, histamine, there are many, you learn later in physiology. Because of the chemical, the receptors are sensitized. So that the same stimulus becomes much more effective, much more. Now this applies to yoga also very beautifully. So this is a physiology basis of yoga also. Now when you practice asana, for example, I am bending forward, bending backward, twisting myself. So of course, what do so properly. As we do in many postures, we do Surya Namaskar, we do many practices. Now, if I am doing this with breathing also, breathing the pranayama purva, while breathing out, I bend. While breathing in, I head back. Also, while breathing out, twist. Breathing in, that's what you do. So that the movement and the breathing is synchronized. Two are summed together. The effect will be much more than either of the two. Asana will be more beneficial. Because you are doing yoga of the two asana techniques. You are doing yoga of asana pranayama. Yoga is union. Is it harmony? You are doing harmoniously, you are breathing and moving. So breath, body, harmony. So the effect will be much more because it's holistic. It's not only one. Third point, same thing, you are doing more meditatively now. You are doing movement, you are doing breathing, but also meditatively. Mind is there. Now if you are doing, say, physical exercise, running, body is somewhere, mind is somewhere, breath is somewhere else. Isn't it? So there is no harmony between the three. Effect will be different. So the beauty of yoga is the harmony between body, mind, body, breath and mind. Every time you cannot have harmony. But most of the time, sometimes you are doing very fast also. But you must see that as much as possible, body, breath, harmony should be there, mind should be there. So the body, breath, mind, harmony should be there. It will have more effect, more beneficial effect on the body as well as mind as well as more therapeutic potential. This is the secret of therapeutics of yoga. This is holistic. Because some is more. So when you do asana, the pranayama, and meditatively, the effect is much, much, much more. And that's the beauty of yoga. It's very effective. In many, many conditions, yoga is very, very effective as a therapeutic measure and very effective to improve your physical and mental strength. That is holistic. Then well-being, this is our topic, main topic, well-being. A state of health, happiness, and prosperity. If you are good health, but mind is a person is a moron fellow, mad fellow, or is very healthy, very strong, physiologically fine, blood pressure normal, everything normal, but he is not happy. Maybe some psychological problem. He may have job problem, he may have family problem, he is not happy. Then he is not well-being is not there. Prosperity also. Of course, balance. Not so much money, not so much, but so much like a Bulwer car, isn't it? Balance, isn't it? Because you have to achieve a balance. So that's well-being. And yoga is one of the best means to achieve well-being. It's good for your body, good for your mind, good for your soul. So holistic well-being. So yoga is for not simply well-being, but holistic well-being. So that's the beauty of yoga. Now, this was an example of Chaturvedi. You can Google it. He expired some 3 months back, recently, from Bangalore. I met him that day. I read the newspaper. That time I met him about 10 years back. In Bangalore, I got a New Man's Examiner, and I saw in the newspaper about him. Then I was very much impressed. Somehow I tried to meet him. And then I went to his home also. 1 hour I was talking to him. That time 113, he was 113, 1 month, 3 years that time, 10 years back. And for 1 hour he was talking to me with full, I want to take photo. So he was there sitting in the chair after his speech. And then you see how he responds. 113, 1 month, 3 years old, visited. So this is because he's a yogi. He practices yoga. He eats very little. He gets up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, practices yoga. And that time he was translating at the age of 113 years. He has lived 3 centuries. He was close to Mahatma Gandhi. He has witnessed Jallianwala massacre also, his own visitor. And he didn't marry because he jumped in this struggle of the independence. And Bangalore, he was there. So one example of living a disciplined life. Any disciplined life, without discipline, you cannot achieve anything. You should be disciplined. A student as a discipline. How you behave. I have seen many students are not disciplined. Indians like discipline. We teach yoga to foreigners. They practice very well. You call them, come tomorrow at 9 o'clock. They'll be exactly in time. We don't follow discipline. So disciplined they are. Especially Germans I have seen. Highly disciplined. And you must develop discipline. That's why I told you, first verse of the Yoga Darshan, As Yoga Anushasana. Start As means just like Om. It's a holy term. Yoga Anushasana. This is the only one verse. Brief. Let us start the discipline of yoga. Next is yoga, second verse. Yoga is within Nirodha, which I already given you. Yoga is the control of the disturbance of the mind, of chitta, my mind. So that is the example of, a living example of yoga. Now, how is yoga holistic? I have told you. How is yoga holistic? Why it is the best form of this your discipline, the best for a well-being. Because holistic, see how, in what way, in every way you see yoga, holistic health, holistic nature, holistic development, holistic health, you see. It is for a physical health, for your body, asana, pranayama, both are very good for the body. For my mind, pranayama also, asana also, but especially the meditation, for my mind and spiritual, because there is a philosophy, for my spiritual development. So for my body, mind and spirit, all threefold, my whole Sattam Atma Shariram Cha, all three, it develops me, holistic. Holistic nature, it promotes, promotive, preventive, curative. You will be dealing with these things. But mostly you are not doing the promotive, much modern medicine does. Ayurveda starts with the promotive, then preventive and last curative. But modern medicine curative, just give drugs. You have to promote health. Promote your health first thing. If you become, I wish you, many of you, all of you, most of you become holistic physician, so that you will spend more time, more energy in promoting health of the community. You will spend more time in making them healthy, keeping them healthy, rather than treating the disease, because the disease will be much less, isn't it? People will be healthy. So they promote you. It promotes your physical health, mental health, spiritual health. It prevents disease. Your person practicing yoga, he will not fall sick. Of course, he is not made of steel. He will also fall sick. He will get accident, but much less often, less severe, better and quicker recovery. So it's a preventive and curative. And many consider, I have my personal experience. Yoga is better than modern medicine. Of course, modern medicine, yoga cannot compete like emergency, medical emergency, surgical emergency, diagnostic techniques, beautiful. How many developed is there? I am 63 batch, 1963. I could not even imagine what we are doing now. These techniques of computerized, the diagnostic techniques. It was beyond our thought. We could not even imagine. So many development is there. There's beautiful, so much is modern medicine. Yoga has nothing to do with that. No comparison at all. isn't it? But chronic disorders, mental disorders, yoga is definitely better than modern medicine, curative potential. And if you combine the two, they complement each other. And then development, horizontal development, this level, in depth, in meditation, you go deep in your mind, and higher you develop. You get one with higher consciousness in samadhi. So there is development. So from every point of view, yoga is holistic. And that's the beauty of yoga. And as I told you, it's augmentative. As I told you, it's the holistic one. Some is more than, the soul is totally some more than some individuals. Now, the science is philosophy is art. Yoga is science. I have also done a lot of papers, the research papers, and the philosophy. We're talking about philosophy now itself, but there's a much more deep philosophy. And art, how you practice, how you practice asana, pranayama, many techniques need more art. It's economical, it saves time, energy, resources. What do you need? Whole class, what do you need? We don't even hall, you can do an open ground also. If it's not very hot, if it's not raining, you can do open. You need just a yoga mat, nothing else. One room, enough. You don't need anything. While you have other paraphernalia, you do all the games. So much energy, so much money, so much time is needed. And it's half an hour, 45 minutes of you get full yoga techniques. And then whole day you continue. The way you behave, moral behavior, the way you breathe whole day, the way you eat, the way you whole life, because all life is yoga. That is what Sri Aurobindo, he was a modern yogi. All life is yoga. So it's economical in time and resources and energy. Ideal for prevention and management of stress. One thing is very important. Stress is very important. So stress is a modern syndrome. Modern stress is always there. It will always be there. You cannot avoid stress. But stress will be normal. We can use stress, normal stress. It is desirable. But we have more stress. And nowadays, mental stress. And for medical students, we have sudden change in the study environment. Too much curriculum, loaded curriculum, and often examinations, and give stress. And you have to manage stress. Stress will be there. You cannot avoid it. Even I have stress now. I'm talking. I have some stress. It's physical stress. It's a pleasant stress. We call sukhatta now, use stress. Other dukhatta now, distress, not distress. So stress will be converted to use stress, into desirable stress, if you are a yoga practitioner. So, and what I want to say is yoga is the best means of prevention as well as management of stress. Not only stress disorders. I will see later on what are stress disorders, mental disorders. So yoga, there is no technique. You can manage stress by the drugs, by music, by many other things. Some manage stress by smoking, by drinking also. It's unhealthy management. So, but yoga is the best way. Meditation, shavasana. It's not difficult to learn. It's not difficult to learn. And the best way is a time-tested tradition, thousands of years, and stress-free, low impact. Now, suppose an elderly man particularly, you started doing exercise, jogging, for example. Jogging is good, of course. Walking is good. Walking is the best. Fast walking is very good. Elderly person starts suddenly jogging. He can injure his back, he can injure his knee joint, any joint. But yoga is on your body itself. Of course, you have to use common sense. Don't use foolishly. It's absolutely safe, absolutely, as long as it's common sense, that's all. If you take a full meals and then stand on your head suddenly, it is horrible. So that's a foolishness. Otherwise, it is stress-free, it does not give stress. And even if after a session of yoga, you feel very, very fresh, mind is fresh, isn't it? You don't sweat much, minimum, or no sweating, minimum sweating. So it's ideal, relaxing technique. That's the beauty of yoga. Now, what are the benefits of yoga? How is the holistic health? Isn't it? For my total health and vibrant life. Because the holistic science, holistic philosophy, on my body, on my mind, on my soul. What does it do to my body? What does it do to my mind? What does it do to my soul? That's the detail. I'm giving only brief outline. My body physiological benefits. I have done many aspects of this research, published also. A lot of people have done work. We have over 10,000 scientific papers, not the non-scientific papers, more than 10 all over the world available. You can get from the net. Neurophysiological changes, EEG changes during the practice of meditation. And for meditators, alpha waves are more. If you have more classes on the physiological effects of yoga, I can more than one class also. So the neurophysiological changes are there. Even long-term meditation, the structure of the brain, thickness of various parts of the brain can increase. Neural transmission, neurotransmitters, size of the neurons, of course EEG, are also there. They are changed. Restores autonomic balance, sympathetic, parasympathetic. Most of us, we are stressed, sympathetic is more active. So it brings it back. There has to be a balance between the two limbs of autonomy, sympathetic and parasympathetic. It restores it. Improves cardiorespiratory function. We measure it, respiratory function. There are many parameters, which are respiratory rate, respiratory volume, depth of breathing, force of respiratory, cardiorespiratory function when you're doing exercise, how much is the cardiac output, how much the effect, how much strain on the heart. These we have measured. I also measured these things. So it improves cardiorespiratory function and your ability to withstand the stressor. If you are a yogic practitioner, you can do more exercise or same degree of stress will produce less change in you. Better immunity. Immunity is now very, very important. Important, is it? No, now corona, for example, even now vaccine is coming, we don't know how effective long term. So immunity is the basis, isn't it? Take vaccine also, do take it, is it? And of course, use preventive measures, hygiene, hand washing, all that. That's very, very important, basic. And do yoga to improve immunity. And Ayurvedic herbs also do improve immunity. Yoga improves immunity, especially slow pranayam, meditation, and whole yoga, all practices, they improve immunity. Ability to withstand stressors, so you can withstand stressors better. And improves many, many, many physiological functions. There will be change the blood also, hormones also, all the functions, digestive change will be there. And so physiological benefits, psychological benefits also there. Mind is calm, tranquil, one-pointed, but calm. You have seen the children, hyperactive people. So they are very active, very alert, but it's not calm. It's all disturbed. Mind was one-pointed. Like I have put a hammer, so my limb must be relaxed, muscles must be relaxed. When I want to use force, I use force. Same for mind, to calm. And then focused, so that you can study better, you can see better, you can understand better. Mind is calm. Improved memory, as I already told you, intellect, memory, problem-solving ability, because there are neurophysiological changes. The neurotransmitters, the structure of the brain does change. With many other, not only yoga, with many other learning techniques, but yoga is very special. And flower your creative abilities, you become creative, you get idea, you become a rishi, you become a scientist. And by the way, you must know that many Indian scientists, we will know many scientists, many of the yogis, including Dr. Kalam, they used to practice yoga, meditation. And because we did not have so much facilities as foreigners have, scientists, but they became great scientists. They were yogis, they were practicing yoga. So the psychology benefits, moral spiritual benefits. So the same divinity in everyone, because of the Vedic principle, yogic principle. One, this Yoga Darshan also. Tasyavachka Pranama, Pranama means Om, that's Yoga Darshan. And that one Paramatma is everywhere, in everything. That's the spirituality. You see sameness in everyone. Then you will behave differently. Everyone is your own, isn't it? They say in Hindi, they are saying, Nirakara Prabhu hai, sabhi mein samaya. Sabhi phir hai apne, koi na paraya. Everybody is your own. The Bhagavad Gita also says. So there are many shlokas of Bhagavad Gita also. So then you see, you become, your social harmony is improved. So it's a unity of your body, mind, and soul. You have seen that, just our yoga. unity with your society, unity with everyone, unity with the whole creation, isn't it? Because the divinity is everywhere. So you have a control of senses because the first step was there, the yama, these moral principles. Then God realization, when the meditation, deep meditation, you become samadhi, you get liberated. You are in this world, not of this world. In this world. World doesn't possess you. Okay, suppose I'm a professor here. This is my chair, this is my department. It is not mine actually. I am not attached to this. If tomorrow they ask me to go, I'll go. I'll be happy. No problem. So that's your liberation. We call Jivan Mukti. Ultimately, Mukti means you become one, and then after death, I don't know what will happen. But really, you are liberated in this world. And many people are there like mother is liberated. She works, she does for his child without any expectation. Mother. Trees give. Whole universe gives. Paramatma gives. They don't expect anything back. River gives. Trees give fruit, flowers. They don't expect. Sun gives light and this beauty. They don't expect back. So that is the spiritual. Because you're one with the whole universe, one with everyone. That is the spiritual benefit. For that, you have to know the philosophy of yoga. So this type of person is a boon to society, especially a physician, a special boon. See, a physician, a doctor can be better. And we have an example, Swami Shivananda of Rishikesh. He was on that time diploma, 3 years. He became a boon because he was in actually Myanmar, Burma. And then he came back, and there's some reasons for that. He came back to India and developed ashram with this Rishikesh. Swami Shivananda is a doctor. Understand will be different. Because you will understand physiology. I'm practicing yoga, I'm practicing meditation. What is happening in my mind? What is happening in my brain? Isn't it? So I can do research better. I can understand better. I can explain better. Isn't it? So that's why you will be a yogic physician. Not only boon, but a great boon to the society if you become a yogic physician. That's what my wish is there. And that's what we are here. But it depends on you, how much you take from us. If you take, I don't come daily, I'm a part-time. But if you are interested, I will take more interest. It depends on you. So inculcates desirable behavior, social health. So physical health, mental health, and this now spiritual health, the behavior. So that is the yoga. Now therapeutic potential. So you have the physical, mental, spiritual therapeutic, non-drug and holistic treatment of stress and age-related chronic disorders, which is very common. Now these types of problems, medical issues, are already more than 60% of total medical load, health load, already. It will become more, 70% also. For example, hypertension, diabetes, arthritis, mental problems, so many kinds, heart problems. And you will see, already in every home you will have lifelong management. There is no cure. They go on taking medicines. Then medicines have their own side effects. Quality of life is not so good, isn't it? Chronic disorders. This is a problem now. The modern condition. Acute condition earlier, when I was a medical student, that time acute diseases were more common. We had epidemics were there. Now we don't have epidemics. They're controlled. Now this pandemic has occurred now. We can avoid them. So this now chronic disorders become non-communicable disease, NCD, non-communicable disease. They form 60 to 70% of the health burden. So this is a problem now. And in these cases, modern medicine is not curing them. You can see, you are seeing that. But we are managing them. Lifelong treatment, most of them. If you take yoga in the early stages of these conditions, we call them Adi and later Vyadi. That's the yoga language. This is also in yoga, not only yoga, it comes to Upanishad also, Adi Vyadi. Adi means early stage, mental stage. Then we have the body fixed. Then we have the pathological changes. Then yoga cannot cure them, but you can benefit you in many ways. I come to this point again after time. But these conditions, hypertension, I have my experience also, hypertension, many conditions. If a person, the patient, practices yoga sincerely, he can get rid of that. He can be permanently cured. That is the beauty of yoga. So the therapeutic potential is preventive, promotive, curative, rehabilitative. I told you just how I see it. Preventive, it promotes health and thereby prevents diseases. It prevents diseases because your health is better, your immunity is better. Curative, I told you just now, chronic disorders. Yoga is very, very effective. Rehabilitative. You have seen in the rehabilitation, you see physiotherapy. Many techniques are yoga based. They don't talk about that. You see these techniques are yoga based. There is a rehabilitative potential. Rehabilitation in the lung diseases, in the heart diseases, the orthopedic problem, the back problem, rehabilitation, the mental problem. Drug addiction, you rehabilitate them. Very effective yoga, definitely. It improves resistance, physical resistance, mental resistance. Inexpensive and safe. Yoga is safe. It's complementary to other systems, to modern medicine we're talking about. It's not, many talk it's an alternative. It's not alternate. Alternate is either this or that. No, it's complements. You can give meditation as a medication. You give drugs as a medication. And other yoga techniques also. The drug dose will be less, effect will be much more, quality of life will be better. These drugs will not improve quality of life as such. So it complements modern medicine beautifully. And other thing you'll see later on if you get a chance to see. In what way, what are the limitations of modern medicine? Are the limitations, strengths of yoga? What are the limitations of yoga? I give you examples in modern emergencies. You can do. That's the strength of the modern medicine. So the limitation of one system is the strength of other system. And limitation of that system is the strength of the other system. They beautifully complement. So become a yoga physician. No yoga, pets yoga, and no medicine also well. Not only yoga only. You must be a good physician. You must know physiology, pathology, treatment. You must know very well. And practice yoga. Become a yoga physician. You'll be very, very effective. Very successful, professional, and an asset to society, will gem for the society. Now, relevance of yoga to medicals, you see. What is the relevance of yoga to medicals? We have already discussed these points so far. Okay. And yoga is relevant to not only medicals. Medicals mean medical students and physicians. Now you're a student. Now you have to learn yoga, practice yoga. Later on you have to give yoga therapy also. Then you have to practice also. You can teach also yoga. Then you can teach yoga. You can be a better yoga teacher than others as a physician. You teach yoga not only to patients, but to common people. I have taught yoga in schools also, colleges also. Police training, Pondicherry, I get 1 year. 1 year. Training, 180 teachers. There are 2 batches that combined. 180 police personnel give yoga training for more than 1 month. So that is, and of course patients. That's this therapy. Not only therapy, but yoga practice. You can do it if you know yoga well, if you practice yoga well. And see now, relevance yoga for modern society, not medicals only. As I have told you already, modern man is victim of everyday stress. Stress is the modern syndrome everywhere, in India, abroad. All produces stress and stress disorders. So what are stress disorders? I'll come to this after some time. And more prone to stress and stress disorders, stress diseases, is type A personality. We are type A, type B personality. Type A personality, I am also type A, very restless. Though I practice yoga, still, otherwise we are more restless. So type A personality, you are always, we call yoga language, we call it Rajasic. Rajasic. We got Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. There is different issue. The Rajasic personality, type A personality, you are restless. Harisic, all the time running here, there, you go to party, you go there, you cannot sit like a restless child, hyperactive child, type A personality. So but everybody has stress. These people are more prone to stress and stress disorders. Now, when the stress is excessive, too much stress, it can be stress, or it can be chronic for a long time, or it can be repetitive, or all it combined. Excessive also, chronic also, repetitive also. So it can be chronic stress, chronic disorders. Long-term stress is there. When you are studying here, all the 5 years, so continuing there is overload of teaching overload is there, curriculum is overloaded, examinations are continuously so many examinations, the chronic stress for you. A family problem, financial problem is there. You have bad wife, bad husband, bad children, bad parents, all the time, bad boss, bad employee. It can happen. They can stressful situation. Many conditions produce stress. It can be chronic, it can be excessive stress, or excessive stress further suddenly you are exposed to very heat outside. So stress. Your vehicle, your scooter fails. Nothing is there. It's just like a forest area. What will you do? Stress is there. It is excessive stress or repetitive stress. It comes again and again. Repetitive stress. Then mind is disturbed, body is disturbed, as you say, your blood pressure changes, body temperature changes, your breathing changes, your sweating, many changes, all our body, all functions change. Mind is disturbed, body is disturbed. You call equilibrium, you call homeostasis, you learn in physiology very soon. Homeostasis, your interior, everything is disturbed. And wide range of mental and physical disorders. Wide range, many, I'll come to this very soon. So that's why how yoga is so relevant to medicos, because it affects your body, your mind, and produces many conditions, problems. Now, when there is stress, you want to relax. I have already given a hint that unhealthy relaxation, as people do, they overeat. Some people stop eating also, just like bulimia. They eat more and then they also vomit. Some people don't eat properly, become thin. Some overeat, this is more common nowadays. They become obese. Some stress is there. Or some take to alcohol. You know, it's very simple to understand. Some start smoking. Some take to drugs. Some go to TV, internet, romancing. now mobile romancing. Okay. So these are not appropriate. Of course, there are you can have, apart from yoga, music is there, nature is, go to nature, do gardening, see rising sun, see the full moon, see the star in the morning. You cannot see God, nobody can see God, but you can see the divine manifestation. You are seeing it. Because Paramatma manifests through us, through you and me, through divine people, through divine creation. I am seeing this. And then be happy. You are one with that. You are same, isn't it? And then this nature relaxes you, music relaxes you, gardening also nature relaxes you. Yoga is specific because you are doing these techniques. You learn these techniques. Shavasana is very, very relaxing. I have seen people with so much stress, high blood pressure high. You give them. If he has faith in you, especially still more effective. On spot blood pressure is reduced. If he is relaxed, if he is energized, when you do Shavasana. And when Shavasana do with Dhyana, with meditation, meditatively, there are some techniques Shavasana, breathe, how you relax the body parts, meditatively. Slow pranayam, with ratio especially, they relax immediately. Metabolic rate, I measure, metabolic rate is reduced within 5 minutes of slow pranayam. Slow asana also. We are doing very slowly. You relax. During asana also, at the end of asana, still more relax. And when you do, say, some asanas and then Shavasana, relaxation is much more than without asana, only Shavasana. That is very important. So asana also promote relaxation. Bhajan singing, yoga is the part of that. You chant mantra. I like to chant mantras, many mantras. And chanting mantras. If you know the meaning of mantras, not some mantras are meaningless. Just like that. Just like meaningless. Mantras have deep philosophical meaning. Mantras, Ved mantra particularly. Bhagavad Gita shlokas. There are so many shlokas in Sanskrit, they are meaningless. Isn't it? And I think they are undesirable. But music is good, so then any music is fine. Music itself. Your mind, your thinking, your behavior, beautiful, isn't it? And that will relax you and others also, because how you behave with them. So you get relaxation. Directly, Shavasana and Dhyana, meditation, they relax you immediately. Other techniques also relax you. Now, relevance of yoga to medicos. special for you. That is for everyone, relevant. As a physician, what's the relevance? Why you must know yoga? You must know yoga. Why? You must know. Tomorrow patient, the public is aware of. They have interest. They are awareness of the health. They are aware of the yoga. They know. Many of the people. They have interest in health. Natural remedy. They want natural cure. To whom they will come? They will come to you. Doctor, I have hypertension. I have sleepless. I can't sleep well. Can yoga help me? Okay. Now, if you don't know, you take a pill and they become pills are actually sleeping pills. Of course, you have to give some time, but long term, they're not good. If you can avoid them, avoid them. If you have to give a short period only. And he might have done good, he might have Googled, he already knows. And he'll come to you, don't know. How will you feel? A common man knows the yoga therapy for sleeplessness, yoga therapy for hypertension. He has Googled it or he has learned somebody, but you don't know. Then what is this? So you must know. It's highly relevant to you. And you will know, if you know, you will know better because you can't correlate disease and yoga. Why it is, how it is so. You can explain better. Isn't it? Yoga is holistic health science. Yoga is not yoga only, because many people think they do asana, they do 100 asanas, so many different asanas. He's a great yogi. He's not a yogi. He's doing very good asana. He can get some medal somewhere. He can come first somewhere. Isn't it? Physical competition. But he's not a yogi at all. Isn't it? So yogi is behavior. Holistic health science. Time tested and effective, no doubt. The time test is effective. There are many other beauty points. I'll come to this point again. A physician practicing yoga is a better guide to yoga, to medicine also, to physiotherapy also. And not only that, because you are practicing yoga, you will have stamina, you have physical stamina, your mind will be calm. Okay. And you will be better physician. You can diagnose better. You see, when you see a patient, the patient sees you, the way you talk to him, hello, sit, he will be immediately, there will not occur itself. Most of conditions, I'm telling you, by seeing you, by a few words itself, can cure a patient. If not cure, but just like it will give a lot of this improvement. You will improve a lot. And if you are yogi physician, you are strong, your mind is like that, isn't it? Your behavior will be like that. You'll be very effective, very successful physician. So they will say he has a jadoo, the magic. Shifa, we call it Persian. Shifa is there to cure that. So it is not just a treatment, but you are curing. So you'll be more, you have more stamina, you can work more, you know more, you can give treatment. Mind is calm, you can work better. You will be less tired, you can work more, and it's more effective. So that's very important for you. A physician trained in yoga, same thing, I'm continuing, is healthy, is stress-free. I have told you cannot be stress-free, but relatively. Stress will not affect you. It is there. Stress is not on your head. It is there. Stress is part of you. You are controlling the stress. You can't be stress-free. But stress is not controlling you. You are controlling stress. So it's for everything. Money, I have money. Money is with me. I have a lot of money. I'm this man. But money is not controlling me. Isn't it? I'm not greedy. Same, I eat well. I eat good food. But I'm not glutton. I am a married man. I perform sex, normal sex. But I'm not a sexy person. Isn't it? So this is just normal. Control. Same way, the stress, function, the money, everything, you are controlling it because you're yogi. They are not controlling you. So you are not bound to them. Bandhan nahi hai. You are free. Mukt. That's called Jivan Mukt. The way you are. You are free in this world here itself. After death, you also, whatever happens, I don't know. But I know what happens here now. You are not attached. You are unattached. Our attachment is not binding. It is just a physiological, not pathological, not abdominal attachment, normal attachment. You are efficient, holistic physician, a great professional. That's what I wish you to be. As a great person. First thing, as a great, we call Nagrik, they say Nagrik, a good citizen of the country, of the society, of the whole world, there's no limit. A good person in the department, good person in the home, good person in the neighborhood, good person in the society, good person, good citizen of the country, of the whole world. It depends on how much you develop. So that is the yoga, because that is the philosophy of yoga. That is spiritual development. Yoga teaches you by morality, by yam niyam, by meditation, by seeing unity of all. That is the Vedic principle. And as a physician, as a doctor, as a medical student, you will understand physiological functions better. I give you some example of physiology. Hypoxia, I gave you this irritation of the receptors, and whereas in yoga also they combine. How you can the what we call this wisdom of yoga, of rishis, inner wisdom, of wisdom and knowledge of modern medicine, you can combine beautifully. And there are so many examples. You can teach yoga to patients and others. I already told you, not only patients, others also. If you know and practice yoga, and of course undertake research in yoga, the beauty. I have done research in yoga, you could do still better than me. And now research, my time research is not important. I said now it is essential for teachers. You have to do research. Otherwise there is no promotion. You have to do research. You can start research now itself. We have the students, this ICMR studentships we get every year they give. And I have guided so many ICMR students from JIPMER. And every year I will take 1 or 2 ICMR students. One only we can take, but second we can take with help of others also. I used to take every year. ICMR student, they get some money. That time 5,000, now probably more. And then you can make paper also. By the time you come, you finish your MBBS, you already 1 or 2 papers. One physiology department, one maybe pharmacology department somewhere. And you can do this yoga also. And when you appear for the some PG, it can help you there, isn't it? I do research. Now I told you that stress causes a lot of health problems. Now see, please just note this. I already told you. Now see this perspective. Health problems are caused by stress or precipitated by stress. Already some disease is there, but stress will precipitate here. Or aggravated by stress. See, I'll give you a very simple example. For example, there is a young married girl. She is weak. She has anemia. Not very severe, it's a mild anemia. It is, we can compensate it. They are not my symptoms. Of course, she cannot do very severe exercise, but she can do little activity. So there is no breathlessness, no dyspnea. She can manage. Due to any anemia is there. Now she is pregnant. Pregnant now baby now is normal. So there's additional load on her. Now dyspnea or clinical symptom may be precipitated or may not be precipitated. Now she has basic anemia, she is pregnant. Then she gets some infection suddenly. Normally she gets infection. So now there are 3 problems together. Okay, so now the heart problem or the dyspnea will be precipitated by infection. Or the heart problem, infection may not produce heart problem. It will not produce dyspnea. Now it will not produce dyspnea, breathlessness. But in her case it produces dyspnea. Got the point? Same way stress can produce the problem. It can cause hypertension, it causes heart problems, it causes impotency, it causes many conditions. Back pain also. It causes headaches, it causes mental problems. It can cause. Or it can precipitate. There is already some problems. There is already some pressure or some physiological some change there, it precipitates. Or aggravates it. What are these conditions? See now. Anxiety, neurosis, psychological problem, eating disorders. We already talked to them. You overeat or you undereat, addiction, and you can take alcohol, you can take drugs, you can smoke, substance abuse, we call it. Muscle spasm, pain, because the stress strain is there, so you get spasm. So pain. If already there is a back pain, it becomes worse if there is stress. So back pain, muscle pain, you must manage with stress also. You must manage stress also. You give relaxation also, not only drugs. You give local heat, fermentation, you give heat also, you give physiotherapy also, and stress also. By shavasana, by meditation also. Impaired immunity. Stress process, we see later on, we learn later on. Physiology itself, we learn. The B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, the cortisol, the stress produces from the brain and the limbic system, hypothalamus, and the pituitary, cortisol, and this affects the T cells and B cells, which are involved in the immunity, humoral and cellular immunity. So stress affects both immunity, both cellular and humoral immunity. If you are relaxed, you have better immunity. You are stressed, poor immunity. Autoimmune diseases also, stress can precipitate and aggravate it. Cardiovascular problems, well known, hypertension, heart problems due to stress. Stress is very important role. Respiratory problems, restlessness, broken asthma, stress is very, very important factor. Gastrointestinal problems, peptic ulcer, ulcerative colitis. And we know that irritative bowel syndrome, we don't have proper treatment, modern medicine. And stress is very important there. The sexual problems also again, yoga is better than drugs, isn't it? Definitely. Diabetes, thyroid dysfunction, autonomic neuropathy, like diabetes, autonomic nervous system. So many conditions produce autonomic neuropathy. Stress can make these conditions either precipitate them or aggravate. In some cases, even cause them. So that is stress. All pervasive stress and stress disorders. And I told you that these disorders for more than 60%, 70% of health are this load, isn't it? Or you can say the disease load. We call them non-communicable diseases, NCD. They are not infective. Infective is not communicable diseases. They are not communicable. And one way I would say they are communicable because they run family. If I overeat, I am stressful, father is stressful all the time, angry, children also develop same quality. So they develop same thing. If father is eating bad food, child also eats bad food. He also becomes obese. So in one way it is also communicable, the other way. But strictly it is not communicable, isn't it? So these conditions. And all this, because stress is a very, very important factor, managing the stress can reduce these conditions or improve at least. It may cure the condition. If not cure, it will improve it. So the yoga is a very, very important role, as I told you, especially Shavasana and Pranayam. Now, these conditions, I already told you, does allopathy have all the answers? See, most of the budget, as you know, goes to allopathy, not to yoga, not even to homeopathy or Ayurveda. Ayurveda is also a very good system. Not whole of it, but it's very good system. Diabetes 6 crore in India, I am telling you, not world, is estimated. And it will become 8 crore. That time, now China is the diabetic capital of the world, not India. India is number 2. So we are predicted to overtake China by that time. Hypertension, more than 10 crore. And many diabetes develop hypertension and vice versa. And many families, they have more than one condition. They are taking treatment for this, so many drugs there. It is not good food, healthy food. So what drugs are there? They are eating medicine, not taking medicine. This is the problem. What the quality of life? How much money is involved? How much time is involved? This is the problem. It's a modern medicine, we are treating them. But what treatment we are doing? Managing them. Trying to improve quality of life. And yoga will still further improve the quality of life. You have to give medicine, no doubt. I have to say we should not give medicine. You have to give. But if we adopt yoga also in addition to medicine, then in the beginning, then medicine may not be there. Yoga also not there. Yoga only may be there. Or medicine is less, dosage is less. Even if dosage is not less, quality of life is improved. He becomes better. Person becomes more healthy. Body and mind becomes more healthy. That is a big thing. Even if you had patient with disease, but his quality of life is better. That's a big thing. Drug dose is less. It's a big thing. You are saving so much money. You are avoiding the side effects are reduced of the drugs. And so that is the beauty of yoga. So yoga can, as I already told you earlier stage, cure many cases. Decrease drug dosage, improve quality of life, and augment our Medicare. It's augmentative. So it is there. It will improve our Medicare, augment it. So that we can complement this, but complementary, not the alternative. So yoga for improving psychosomatic health, managing stress, boosting immunity, early stage of lifestyle disorders, to cure them, pre-operative relaxation. Before you operate, you teach them yoga, they will be relaxed. Post-operative recovery, afterwards you cannot teach them, you teach them in advance, beginning itself. So they recover better. So you see, yoga is not treating them, you are operation, you are a surgeon. But at the surgery, you pre-operative relaxation, post-operative recovery. And probably, I'm not sure, sometimes you don't know their immunity. Now we didn't have any treatment for COVID, for example. There's no treatment, it's only symptomatic treatment. How much yoga can be effective? But when he's in a crisis, yoga will not be effective at that time. Possibly, probably, keep in mind, maybe if you know modern medicine well, you know the medicine, you know pharmacology well, you know yoga well, you'll be able to understand. See, yoga therapist cannot, yoga teacher cannot decide. A doctor also cannot decide. But if you are a yogi physician, you can decide how much yoga, what yoga, how much drug, when and where to combine, what to do. To complement modern medicine. So that's the beauty of yoga. So there's opportunity for you. Strengths of yoga, it is holistic. I told you earlier, holistic. It's not a passive disease, allopathy. Even Ayurveda is not a religion of Ayurveda, it's a knowledge, it's a gyan, it's not treatment. There also, Ayurveda is a church, I have the book, I have gone through them. There's the Sutra, why there's no treatment in the beginning of disease. They talk about the qualities of physician, good qualities of good physician, bad, like that. It's all quite beautiful poetry. And then for health, then how you improve the health by the herbs also. With this treatment, we call them, they call Vajikaran also, and they call this, to improve the health of the person. There are many like Tulsi, Ashwagandha, so many are there, and drugs are there. Chyawanprash you already know, to improve health. So that is so the modern medicine passive because we focus on the disease. Nowadays we are give more importance to prevention. My time it was disease. Now also it's primary disease. Disease focused. Yoga is health focused. So from disease to health, from treatment to you make it, so you give proper health. Simultaneous benefited comorbidities. For example, I have given a treatment for hypertension, yoga therapy for hypertension. If he has diabetes, that will also improve the same techniques. If he has sleeplessness, that will also improve. That doesn't happen with the drugs. Drugs may worsen that condition. So that the comorbidity which many patients have can also be improved. Improvement of general health, quality of life. Quality of life improve. Patients become more happy, more healthy. These are side benefits. Drugs have side effects. Negative side effects of drugs. Positive, beneficial, desirable side benefits of yoga. Small budget for the whole community, not for the whole class, whole community. Yoga and modern medicine are complementary. They beautifully complement each other. Prolongs your life. Alive. Quality of life is just a little, but length. You live longer. So you are very elderly patient, old patient, taking drugs. Let yoga add life and energy to those years. Practice yoga also, you give treatment also, yoga also, you become more energetic. Holistic living, saying was the topic. Oriented. Yoga is promotive, preventive, curative also. But promotive, preventive first. Allopathy disease specific. Yoga is non-specific, overall, holistic, overall improvement. Allopathy objective, objective. We are subject to also. Yoga is also objective, no doubt. They are subject to experience. You experience. Rishis have experienced and give to us. We also experience meditative state. When you do meditation, you experience many things which are difficult to explain, difficult to share with others, difficult to measure, not objective. For medicine, science is objective. Everything has to be measured and shared with others. This is objective, subjective also. Modern medicine is mechanistic. Yoga is holistic. And you have allopathy, medical ethics is now important. This is not so important. Medical ethics is now very, very important. Part of this. It is compulsory now, medical ethics. Whereas yoga, moral spirituality, the basis itself, we have seen in Japanese, the moral theory is already there, thousands of years before. And modern medicine, medical ethics is now, for some decades, they are important now. It's already the yoga. And if you integrate the two, we become holistic, more effective healthcare system. Yoga physician, holistic physician will be more better physician, more effective, more efficient physician, and also relief to overburdened healthcare system. Many patients may not need to go to hospital at all. You can manage them. And if you give yoga general, they will let less people be sick, more healthy people will be there. So that if you go to Japan and many government hospitals, thousands and thousands in OPD, same time. So overburdened healthcare system everywhere. So it will be a big boost public health system, yoga. So now see, as a physician, as a medical student, what is your opportunity? What's your responsibility? You have a responsibility to contribute to public health, contribute to your own health, to health of others, and to reduce the stress pressure on the hospital. Your responsibility and your opportunity to become efficient, to become yogi, to become. You have to become. Become what? You understand. So this Shavasana class, the Japan batch of 2008, 100 students are there. And see, now you are, it's not, we believe, see, Paramatma is there. It's not God is there, and I am here. Everywhere. Sit in the lap of the Paramatma. You can think of it like a divine mother or divine father, what is it? This is not mother, father's father. It's a neutral gender. In the Gayatri Mantra, tat means that, not he or she, for Paramatma. Tat Savitru Varenin, tat means that. So it's a neutral gender. Sometimes you can take he, she also. Because nothing, this is called Nirgun. These qualities do not appear to Paramatma. This is Nirgun. It's a power. It's everywhere. And when you go to sleep also night, do some surrender to the divine, do some preliminary yoga techniques, maybe some pranayam, some shavasana, and go to sleep in the divine Sachidananda. Go to shavasana at the end of the yoga practice. That is what you will become really great. That is why patients may not be able to go immediately, but you can train them in practice. Mix them. So this was our experience. Now see, you can do pranayam, doing the pranayam class there. You can do pranayam in the hall also. Lecture hall also you can do pranayam, you can do. But there is good ventilation should be there. And this is the girls doing, boys also there, that side. So they won't look at each other. So this is the one batch. It was only for 1 month program. So in 1 month also they learned a lot. Because me and my juniors, they did a lot of interest there, the students. And that's why they say what Bhagavad Gita says, be a yogi Arjuna. Tasmat yogi Arjuna. Therefore Arjuna, as you can see the reference is there. Please see yourself, Bhagavad Gita see, yoga is there again and again. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any queries here?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
for
you
a
are
wonderful
there.
presentation. Dr.
That's
Lakshmi here.
here. Fine.
How are you, sir?
Where are students? They are in the hostel. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Students are by hostel.
Yes, sir. They are attending from hostels.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Actually,
students, thank you very much. And it was very nice to have Dr. Madan Mohan, my mentor, and also the director for Center for Yogic Sciences at Arupadi Medical College for having addressed our students. Thank you very much. And sir has stressed enough the importance of yoga in our life. For like you have been reading the definition of health, no? So can anybody repeat again what is the definition of health? Anyone can repeat the definition of health? Anyone? One of you can unmute and then can tell.
Physical, mental, and social well-being.
And not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, right? So that is what was taught to you, right? So please do not forget the definition of health, and yoga takes care of all the aspects of being a healthy individual, right? Thank you very much, sir, for joining us today. Now, now we are going to talk about, we have Dr. Kamal. He is Associate Professor, Department of Orthopedics. He has joined us, and he is also the Member Secretary for Sports. So he's part of our council, Students' Council, and he's going to tell you about the type of facilities that are available for you. So not only we are taking care of your, we have fine arts, culture, and then sports, apart from the most important part, that is the yoga, right? So please, students, join into all these activities and keep yourself healthy and remain stress-free, right? Okay. Over to you, Dr. Kamal.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, respected Dean, Vice Principal, Chairman of the Council, and members, and beloved students. A warm welcome to all. So myself, I'm Dr. Kamal, Secretary of the Sports Committee from the Department of Orthopedics. So I'll be taking through the sports at Arupadi Medical College. So the sports, it has been the most popular involvement for human beings, whether they're amateurs or professionals. So by participating in sports, there are definite health benefits. Along with health benefits, it also helps in social integration and inclusion, which plays a vital role in non-formal education. Also, it promotes exchange of intercultural factors, and most importantly, it shapes the professional career. So our students are actively participating in inter-college and inter-college sports meet. They exhibit their skills and they're bringing laurels to our institution. Regular coaching for various sports are provided for our students, and they are trained to display good sportsmanship and standard of conduct. Sports beyond academics have proven to be a healthy factor in the progress of the institutes. So let me tell you what are the infrastructure facilities which are available. See, the outdoor, we have a football field which is about 4,500 square meter, a volleyball court of about 600 square meter, a basketball court which is cemented and it is about 1,200 square meter, and a tennis court which is about 600 square meter, a throw ball court and a nets for the cricket practice, and an outdoor badminton. So the indoor badminton and table tennis boards are available, and we have a dedicated sports complex which has a TT, a tennis, table tennis, dartboard, a snooker table, carom and chess boards. So students, it will be very nice when you are showing interest in sports, and you will be participating in many inter-college and inter-college meets, and you will be playing along with your seniors, and this will be having a very good interaction with them. So students who are interested can contact the physical trainer, Mr. Jahan, who will be available in the ground by the evening. So the any students who are willing to participate can give the names, to the physical director. And let me know any students who have represented these sports in their school levels. If students who have participated in the school levels, they can also, we'll be very happy to take into these sports, and you'll be representing our.
Excuse me, Dr. Kamal, students are putting in the chat.
Yeah, okay, I'm seeing that, ma'am. Yeah, I'm just seeing
Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So I'll be happy to take all the students, and we're having a very good interaction with everyone, and we'll have a very good culture. That's it from the sports committee, ma'am. Students have any doubts or any questions, queries, can ask.
Okay, students, you want to ask anything to sir? Sir, we need to give our names. Yeah, you can give your names. Yeah, yes, you can give your names. Okay, so actually, we have inculcated this, already incorporated your sports in your curriculum. Like every day from after you have finished your quarantine, so you will be having sports and yoga alternately. So that will be from 4 to 5 every day, right? So definitely that aspect will be taken care of. And apart from that, those who need to participate in any intercollegiate activity or anything, as in when we get to know, we are going to display on the boards, and then you can definitely participate. But I have to make this point very clear at this juncture itself, that those who want to participate in sports and any culturals or fine arts or whatever activities, intercollegiate activities, the best thing is to have good attendance and also to have good IA. If you are already lacking your attendance and if you are showing poor performance already in your academics, then definitely we will not be able to give you permission to attend all these activities. I hope I'm clear about it. So you have to maintain 80% and above attendance, and definitely IA 50% and above IA you have to maintain if you want to participate in all these intercollegiate activities, fine arts or cultures or whatever, right? Because you need to take day off from your academics. So tomorrow you may become a good sportsman or whatever, but it is only extra talent that you are having. Your main focus should be your academics. Am I right? Yes, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So, so apart from whatever facilities that Dr. Kamal just briefed about, you would have seen that we are having bicycles in the campus. You have seen those bicycles? We are having 50 bicycles, right? We are having 50 bicycles. So those bicycles are for your usage within the campus. And the bicycles are given only in the evening times. Okay. So you can very well make use of those bicycles. I'm not aware whether they are given in the early morning hours also, those who are very interested in cycling and all. Even I'm not clear about it. So if you are really interested, we can always find out the timings and we will let you know about those timings, right? So all this is possible only when you are good in academics, you are maintaining good attendance. Yes, you can participate in all intercollegiate activities, right? So we are already a part of the Fit India campaign. You already know that Shri Modi ji has already told, like last year also, last year. So he had introduced that campaign of Fit India movement, right? So we are also promoting that as a part of, because it is all mandated by UGC. Okay. So we are part of the Fit India campaign. So apart from this Fit India campaign, we are also having NSS activities. You can participate. You can be a volunteer in the NSS activities. You can go for n number of awareness campaigns that are usually called by the Department of I think they are all called by Department of Tourism and from the Ministry of Health, Government of Pondicherry. So you can join in all these awareness campaigns as and when you are not too tied up with your academics. Yeah, nothing will be at the cost of your academics. Okay, so you can go for all these awareness campaigns. Fit India, on 26 January, we had cyclothon, right? It was we had registered with the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and then each student, like all the participants had to, we just kept a track of 5 kilometers, but more also was welcome. And we contributed around 500 kilometers to the cyclothon, Fit India cyclothon campaign, right? So we can have all these activities on a regular basis, right? So more and more activities, all suggestions and all inputs from all the students we are willing to take it. Okay, as far as it is feasible and it is, as far as it is not at the risk of your academics, we will be more than happy to take it up. Yeah, anything, Dr. Kamal, apart from this, you would like to add anything?
That's it, ma'am. You have covered up everything.
Yeah. So this is what you have to be very, very, this is very important, because we had one incident when one student had been going for sports, and then what happened was he excelled in sports too much, but then when it came to academics, he had really done very miserably. So that is not our aim of joining a medical institution, a very demanding profession, right? So we have to first focus on our academics. Then only comes all these extracurricular activities, right? So we have this Fit India campaign, and then so Fit India involves all this yoga, all sports activities. All these are part of our fitness programs, right? So you have a gym in your hostels. So probably after you finish your quarantine, you will be allowed access to all these areas. But as of now, please take care of your health. And then once we start with physical classes, start coming for physical classes, get used to the campus. And then gradually you can set up a good routine for yourself. Okay. So please, a good disciplined life, a routine, that is very, very important for all of us, especially we professionals. This is very, very important. A disciplined life, right? It is not that for this week I'm not having any exam, or no assignment is there, so I will just play, I will not do anything else. But when it comes to, because you are going to have internal assessment, that is the time, 1 week before that you start reading, and but the portions have been taken 1 month or 2 months prior to that. So it is not possible for you to cover that 2 months portion in 1 week's time. It is very, very impossible. So you have to make a routine that you are every day, you are going to, whatever lectures are covered in the theory class or in the during the practical hours, you must cover those, at least read it once, right, in the evenings, so that, and if possible, those who are meritorious students, those who really want to excel, do really well, because we are going to give you the timetable. You can always see what chapter is going to be taken next. You can always read that and come for the next day. So it will be a boost, right? So you're already prepared for that day, right? So that is the best way to do it. I hope you take all these suggestions, and then you are benefited by all these. So we are not only going to make you good academicians, but we are also going to take care of your health aspect, because if you people were there in the course commencement ceremony, one of the parent very categorically told, I don't want my child to be in an AC room all the time. I would prefer my child to be better in the outdoor. So we do take care of all these things. So please make use of whatever facilities we are having, make use of it, but not at all at the cost of academics, right? Okay. So you can, apart from NSS, we also have, like, NSS does a lot of tree plantation activities that is within the campus. And then we are going to introduce, we are already having Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So we are going to make it with your inputs and with your volunteers that you are going to volunteer. we are going to make it a really good versatile campus with all your help, right? So we are going to make certain wards we will create. So those areas will be looked after. A group of volunteers and even we will be involved, so that whoever does best, maybe we may initiate some prizes or something. So some activities we'll be doing so that you are not bored at all. Okay. So and then we also have a Red Ribbon Club, right? So that Red Ribbon Club is for cancer awareness programs, right? We have all the so many cancers. We celebrate all cancer awareness days here in the campus. So you will gradually, as you start coming, you start attending classes, you will get to know what are things are going on in the campus, what are things you can contribute. Okay. So we have already seen that day when I was talking, so many of you had told that we are good at singing, dancing. You are already at, some of you are already completed master's level and all that. So we are going to have a very nice time in the campus. Okay. So thank you all very much for joining us, right? So we had a beautiful session the whole day today, and it's Saturday. So we are not going to have anything in the afternoon. So before I close, I just hand over the mic to the organizers today. Thank you very much for patient listening and for being with us throughout this morning. Thank you very much. Just 1 minute, please stay back. She's going to, the organizer is going to make certain important announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, students.
Yes, ma'am.
He's left already. Come on, come on. He's left. I will call. Yes, students. Okay. Thank you, students. Thank you all. So today I think we had a very good session from the morning. First session by Dr. Madam, Mahalakshmi Madam. I think she elaborately she said about the humanistic medicine, how to just treat the patient, not only treating the patient, and also how to acknowledge their soul. Okay. So next session, the yoga for well-being. So the importance of the yoga also, Dr. Madan Mohan sir, he said elaborately, he said about the yoga for well-being. Okay. Yeah, so we'll end this session. Okay, yeah. So afternoon, there is no session in the afternoon. So we'll see on Monday session. So all the three departments, first year department, all the head of the department going to present the session. So we'll. So Monday, the session start at 9 o'clock. Okay. So the session starts at 9 o'clock. So join in. Just prayerly, just 8:55, just log in the session. Okay. So the session sharply it starts at 9 o'clock. So start, you people, just all of you just join the session at 8:55 itself, logging the session. Okay. So thank you all. So we'll end up the session. Thank you all. Thank you, students. Have a nice day. See you on Monday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sunday holiday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just eat well, sleep well. We'll see you on Monday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, wind up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Ma'am.